Hi, my name's Walter Montero. I'm a real estate and mortgage agent here in Cambridge, Ontario, and I've had the privilege of serving our community since 1987. Over the years, I've met some great people here in our community in many different businesses and walks of life. Some, of course, are well known, and others are some of the best kept secrets in town. So the purpose of this podcast is to share and introduce them to you. Welcome to the I Love Cambridge podcast. You're the CEO for Nutrition for Learning.
Yes.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you come from, and how did you end up in this role?
Isn't that a great question? So I'm also from Cambridge,
Okay.
and Nutrition for Learning is a cause that is really near and dear to my heart. I was definitely one of those young people growing up that would have benefited from the program. So when I found out that Nutrition for Learning had an opportunity to kind of support the building of the future of what the organization might look like, it was a no-brainer for me to come on board. And the timing was right. So my background, I have a varied background. I'm a career-long entrepreneur. I've been helping other folks and also on my own with my own brands, building fitness and wellness brands across Canada and beyond. So that has always been part of my life. Fitness and wellness has always been part of my life and my career. I also worked for about a decade in healthcare philanthropy. And I think, it's always been a purpose for me to help create healthier communities by creating opportunities for conversation, for connection, for well-being. Really understanding the role that mental health plays in building those healthy communities. So my fitness brand, like all fitness brands for the most part, really struggled during the pandemic. We closed all of our locations during COVID. And that gave me an opportunity really to work and consult again for other folks in that industry who were working really hard to navigate how to run their businesses and making some tough decisions during the pandemic. And then I found myself available when things happened with Nutrition for Learning.
Very good. Wow. Give us a little bit of a background in Nutrition for Learning. Like it's not really something that I hear a lot of people talking about. So give us a little bit of a background of the organization and how it got established and that sort of thing.
Nutrition for Learning is in its 25th year this school year. Okay. So long before my time, Nutrition for Learning, like a lot of organizations in the region, was a very grassroots startup story where it was really just caring people in the community who recognized that, hey, it's pretty important that young people are fueled when they're at school. And for whatever reason, many kids might show up without a lunch or having not had breakfast. So it really just started like a lot of organizations in a lot of community centers and church basements with good people preparing food and bringing that food to schools. And of course, as the region grew, I think the school board and other, leaders in the community recognized that we really needed a system in place to help make sure that that food, healthy, nutritious food, is available to all young people when they come through the school doors. And so over time, nutrition has really scaled to become a program that's all about universal access at schools for everyone, K to 12. We serve about 95% of the schools in Waterloo region. And the need is really escalating. So breakfast and lunch, schools can decide how they roll out their program, and every school kind of has their own way of delivering the program. But the idea, I think the best part about Nutrition for Learning is that the commitment is to universal access. So the promise that school partners make with us is that students should never really have to self-identify and say, I'm that kid that doesn't have a lunch or that didn't have breakfast. It's really just there. It's food for all, so that the program is non-stigmatizing and really inclusive.
Very good. Okay. So now, what are some of the challenges that the organization faces, and what are you doing to overcome those challenges?
Well, I think like every organization right now that is youth serving and really, every organization in the social sector, The costs of things are through the roof, and at the same time, the need is escalating. We know that we're in a financial position right now where folks are struggling more than they were 3 years ago. So the need for support from Nutrition for Learning was already very high 3 years ago. Post-pandemic, if that's what we're calling ourselves these days,
Yeah.
it's skyrocketed. It was important to us with this current school year being the first school year where we've had no interruptions for
Yeah.
students, that we really make sure that schools were fully supported this year. Mental health is a challenge for everyone, and certainly young people haven't escaped that. So nutrition supports optimal mental health. Nutrition also supports young people learning how to get back to socializing, sharing, breaking bread together, right? It's just such a part of being included and well and happy and healthy. So our challenge right now, the bottom line is it's dollars. We have an amazing system in place for getting the food to the schools. We have amazing partners that we source our food from. We have an unbelievable team. The biggest thing is just making sure that the coffers are full so that we can continue to get the volumes of food out there that are needed.
Gotcha. Okay. How do you work with your partners and your sponsors, for that matter?
Okay.
And what are the benefits for that participation?
Well, I mean, for me, I think, the entrepreneur in me is very passionate about a partnership. We look at all of our donor relationships as a relationship, right? A relationship is reciprocal. So, it's interesting. I was speaking to a really amazing food-based startup that is fairly new to Waterloo region. They created a product about 5 years ago that is very school friendly. And we talked so much about how a partnership together allows them to tell their brand story. Their vision was to create a product that was high in protein, high in healthy fats, and also very easy to transport, right? So something that's lunchbox safe, single serving safe. So, we want to create partnerships that help our donors and our sponsors tell their own stories, that allow their staff members to feel like they're making a real impact. And we want partnerships that are lasting, right? We want even our individual donors, our monthly donors, folks that give us even $3 a month. We have quite a few of those. Those donors are extremely special to us because that monthly gift says, we're in this with you, right? So we try really hard to include our donor family in all of our success stories and be really transparent with them about the landscape and what we're seeing out there so that they understand, every dollar is providing, really, it generally translates to about $1 per meal. It ebbs and flows right now with food costs. But every dollar literally makes a really big impact. So we like people to really feel that.
What kind of impact does the program have on academic performance, or even just overall well-being? Can you give us a little bit of insight into that?
Oh, it's a game changer. And we hear from teachers and child and youth workers on this all day, every single day, especially, as I said, with mental health being a priority right now. So many young people are struggling to pay attention in class. They're struggling with the shift from online to in person. A lot of young people really had a big hiccup, a big blip in learning that social interaction, social cues, holding conversation, being collaborative. So food, again, obviously, we know brain food is so, so important. That's why we're focusing so much on those healthy proteins, healthy fats, to really give young people that lasting energy that they need to participate. But we hear from students every day, young people who maybe, wouldn't be able to participate in after school soccer, volleyball, those types of things, because they're just simply not coming to school with the amount of food that they would need to get through the school day and be able to participate. Lots of young folks with behavioral issues who really find some grounding after a snack, and also just the sharing of a snack with a friend.
Mhm.
And from an academic perspective, we know, you and I know, right? When you have those days where you skip breakfast and you're fueled on just coffee, it works till about 10:30,
Yeah.
right? And then you crash. So, we all know what it feels like to try and perform and be on top of your game without food, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, no, totally understandable. Now, what kind of future goals does the organization have, or initiatives, just to obviously support the students' nutrition in the Waterloo region?
I love this question because we're working really hard right now to elevate our high school presence. We have seen the need explode in high schools. We have a few of our highest need high schools that are currently feeding between about 600 students daily, both breakfast and lunch in some instances. High school students, I think, are in a unique position where, all students had a lot of interruption during the pandemic, but high school, I think they missed some real milestones. A lot of kids are really struggling to find some momentum and traction in classes. Having that gathering place where kids can come and eat and maybe stash a snack for later on. It's really important, and there's a lot of young people who age out of the system in high school. So if
Mhm.
they're in a group home or foster home or anything like that, they may find themselves on their own at 16. Those kids can't afford to grocery shop. They can't afford to put a roof over their head. I was one of those kids. I wasn't in the system, but I was on my own very young. So I know, right, that you're trying to make ends meet on your part-time job, knowing that you can come to school and get, a nice hard cooked egg, some oranges, apples, some cheese, some, whole grains. That's really, really meaningful for a young person who's trying really hard not to drop out of high school and stay the course with their studies.
Great. Now, can you share any kind of success stories? Obviously, respecting people's privacy, but can you give us an idea of some success stories that you've had, or even with faculty that have participated in the program?
We hear success stories every day. We have a wonderful young student who spoke recently at an event, just really talking about how the program, as I said, it helped her to stay in high school. Not just because she was nourished, but because she was in that lunchroom every day with staff who care. And it was a chance to connect, for a young person who maybe is estranged from family. Those are people who are sharing food, who are sharing values and encouragement. And I think oftentimes, as we know with our families, the food is great, but often it's the conversation that happens around the table when we eat together that is most meaningful. I'm also thinking of a lovely friend of mine who's a teacher. She's a primary teacher in the Kitchener area. I mean, we hear these all the time, but they had a young boy in early primary grade who was really struggling with some behavioral issues, and they were struggling to support him and to support his family. And they found that they just got into a routine with him of giving him a snack at 10 a.m. every day. And that's making all the difference. This young kiddo is able to stay in class. He's not being disruptive. He's able to focus. And so, it's a tool that teachers are realizing, okay, this is helping us do our job after a very difficult 3 years of teaching, right?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, that's great. Now, when I was looking at your site earlier, I clicked on the donate key, and there was all kinds of different ways that you can
Yeah.
participate in this program. Give us a little insight on that.
I love that. So yes, I mean, the thing that's really fun is that when you do go online to nutritionforlearning.ca and go ahead to click and make a gift, you have the option of selecting a school that's in your neighborhood, or maybe a school that your grandkids or your own kids go to. So if you're connected to a school and you want to donate right to your school's nutrition program, you can do that on our website. We love when you make a general gift because we know which schools are the highest need schools. Those tend to be the schools that don't have a lot of community support fundraising because they're in a higher needs community overall. So a general gift is by far probably the most impactful. Mm-hmm. You can sponsor some of our events. You can sponsor some of our, school pop-ups. And we have a farm to classroom pop-up that we love to roll out in the summer where we deliver fresh strawberries to high needs schools. So those are really fun. People come out and sponsor those and also volunteer to help hand those strawberries out, which is really cool. But you can also do crazy things like, our friends at Dundee Recycling. You can donate your car and get a tax receipt for that. And then $300 comes back to Nutrition for Learning. We love that because they usually take a video of them crushing the car and everybody thinks that's really fun. Right. So lots of ways that folks can get involved.
Awesome. Very good. Well, that's some great information you shared with us. Is there any question that I didn't ask you that I should have, or anything that you want our audience to know about the organization?
I don't think so. We're just so grateful for the chance to let more people know. And it's funny that you said, Cambridge. I think that the Cambridge area, we have some phenomenal schools here in Cambridge. Schools are very supportive of the program, but I agree that the community is less aware. Yeah. Our good friends at Cambridge Food Bank also have incredible youth serving programs that we're excited to partner together and just let more people know that there's so much happening for young people in the space of food security here locally.
Awesome. Very good. Yeah, I think we have the Denise from the food bank coming on the show, I think next week.
Oh, good. Yeah. Good. They're hosting a hunger forum in Cambridge on May, I believe it's the 25th. So I think it's a really great opportunity for us all to have a conversation with the community about all the good things that are being done, but also the huge need for support.
Awesome. Very good. Well, Erin, thanks so much for being a part of the show and sharing this information and important information to the community. And I wish you all the best. And hopefully our listeners can help support you guys as well.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's great to meet you.
Okay. Likewise.
Bye-bye.